This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Driving along Highway 83 north of Scott City, the prairies break into occasional bluffs, the grass is short, and yucca dots the landscape. Even with these hints, however, you can't help but gasp when you turn off the road to the west and drive down into historic Scott Lake State Park. Yes, down. The road wides down the hillside. The scenery and abundant wildlife, the sunrises and sunsets over the lake, the incredible history within its confines, all beckon the visitor to stay a while. This corner of Kansas has many stories to tell, and today I will share just one, the battle at Punished Woman's Fork in 1878. There are enough tragic stories in the annals of the Plains Indian Wars to fill volumes. Sadly, this story is among them. The Northern Cheyenne had been moved from northwestern Nebraska and bordering South Dakota to the Indian Territory. Conditions were deplorable, and they decided to go home. Historian John Monette calls it an exodus, as we refer to the children of Israel fleeing Egypt. Most Kansans of the day called it something else. The Dodge City Times covered skirmishes with the band of Cheyennes in their neighborhood. The Red Devils, the wild and hungry Cheyennes, commit murder and arson. Several herders murdered, a house burned down, wholesale stealing of horses, an Indian fight, 3 soldiers killed and 3 wounded, the border wild with excitement, straggling bands of Indians raiding everywhere, another Indian skirmish, an Indian killed, a soldier wounded, immigrant trains robbed, 4 companies of cavalry ordered to Dodge. I will not do the disservice of reducing that event to a couple of lines here. Let it be said, Lewis was mortally wounded and died en route to Fort Wallace, and the Indians' horse herd was destroyed, a devastating blow. The most significant effect, however, lay in the attitudes on both sides, leading to pressure from the public for real protection and a more violent and personal response from Dull Knife and his followers, resulting in the brutal raid near Oberlin. This is a story you must experience. Visit Punished Woman's Fork, adjoining historic Scott Lake State Park. Visit the Jerry Thomas Gallery at the El Cuartelejo Museum in Scott City, where you will find photos and artifacts, along with Jerry's incredible art. Visit the Last Indian Raid Museum in Oberlin. Read The Northern Cheyenne Exodus in History and Memory by Jim Leiker and Raymond Powers. Read Tell Them We Are Going Home by John Monette. The story is far too rich and complex for sound bites, but I will leave you with a couple. Lewis was described by a friend as the most tolerant and least prejudiced man I ever met. And when Dull Knife's people reached the Promised Land and were imprisoned for crimes committed along the way, he responded that if the authorities try to send us back, we will butcher each other. Let us never, ever forget these were real people, not just dusty photographs. Join us at the Butterfield Trail Museum and the Fort Wallace Museum for the Trails to Rails celebration July 12th, 13th, and 14th, as once again Butterfield's Overland Dispatch runs stages on the Smoky Hill Trail from Russell Springs to Pond Creek Station at Wallace. Reliving history is a lot more fun than the folks had making it.